Welcome back to Daytime, friends. We are here to talk about celebrating the history of our great, great city. I'm super excited to be joined by Travis Doucette. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. I don't think we do enough or a good enough job of celebrating the history of this amazing city. So you obviously felt the same way, started a Facebook group, and it kind of snowballed from there. Maybe you can...
Absolutely. Actually, I didn't start the Facebook group,
Okay.
but I've been lucky enough to help administrate it. And we have a group. It's the largest Facebook group in Barrie. It's called If You Grew Up in Barrie, You Remember. And there are 3 people that help administrate that group, another great gal by the name of Nancy and another girl named Catherine. And it's the largest Facebook group in Barrie, 6,000 people in it. Yeah. So people have been posting pictures, pictures that have never been published before, perspectives that we haven't seen of the city in years and years. And from that idea birthed the idea to start the Barrie Historical Archive.
Okay.
As great as Facebook is, the platform isn't really great for preserving and protecting our history. So we thought we would launch an archive. Barrie doesn't have a museum.
Yeah, which blows my mind.
I know.
And you know what? It's something I didn't even realize until you mentioned it, that we don't have a museum.
It's hard to believe it, but it's true. A city of 150,000 people, that's 160 some odd years, doesn't have a museum. So we're doing something to change that. And
Nice.
we are launching the Barrie Historical Archive on September 21st.
Okay, so what can we expect to see on the website? I mean, we want to keep something secret, so there's...
Yeah, no,
no
for
surprise.
sure. A lot of photos that have never been published. We have been blown away at the stuff that's just been coming out of the woodwork. I was showing you some of these earlier
that's
today,
something
but
for sure.
you know, pictures, perspective pictures of parades from the past winter carnivals. I like this picture because you can see the old facade of the Wellington Plaza that was built.
Now, it's one thing to get these pictures. A lot of the times, do you know what the picture is of, or are we working on figuring this out?
Sometimes we have a lot of consultants in our group, a lot of folks that have lived in the Barrie area for a while, and sometimes we have to go to them and consult with them to figure out what they are. And sometimes it is a little bit of a treasure hunt and a mystery, but we can usually whittle down the geography of where things are located. And part of the site that's really interesting is that the site's not going to be organized by decade or year. It's going to be organized by geography. So we've split up the map of Barrie into 10 different areas, and you'll be able to search the website for the first time. All of Barrie's history in photos and videos and even in oral history is going to be centralized into one spot. It's going to be incredible.
Now, this city changes so much. I mean, I have friends and family that visit every couple of years.
Right.
And they almost feel like they're driving into a new city when they come up this way.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of how fast we change. So,
Well, you mentioned driving into a new city, and you were holding up this photo before. I love this photo. We've just borrowed this from a contributor recently, and this photo shows Hart Drive and old Hart Motors. This was taken in the 1950s,
Wow.
shortly after the 400 had been constructed. In this area here, where I don't know if our viewers can see, but it's all green, is where Cedar Point Plaza is now. This area here now has been completely developed, the tree line here, and of course 400 Highway, when it was originally constructed, was only 2 lanes in each direction. So do things in Barrie change? A lot? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the reason why we're doing this. And some people think, well, I don't have really, really old photos and I don't have really, really old video. We have photographers on our team that are going out and capturing areas of Barrie now so that they can be preserved for 20 years from now.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we're open to content that's 40 years old. We're open to content that's 4 or 5 years old.
I think you actually have there we go, some photos on this.
Oh,
screen
yeah,
there.
for sure. Yep.
So what are we looking at here?
That's the police department in Barrie. That was submitted by one of the folks on our Facebook group. Mm-hmm.
It must be almost like Christmas morning when you get these.
It is. This particular building for a while was used most recently as Rinaldi's Salon of Aesthetics, but that original building was actually where the RVH was located on Elizabeth Street, which, on Collier Street in Barrie. And that building still stands today. It doesn't have the veranda on it, but that building still does stand today.
Wow.
White building. This is a great building. Night shots are always hard to come by. This is the corner of, I want to get this right, I believe it's Maple and Dunlop. So you can see the Roxy Theater across there, and the Chinese food place, which I believe is still there. And yeah, just incredible to see a night shot like that. Now this is great. This is what has been affectionately called as Kinsey's Run. Willard Kinsey, the mayor of Barrie, developed this, and it was called Kinsey's Run because it would take basically the time that you would have to walk over 5 points in Barrie is the time that it would take Willard to actually run the parameter of the area. So it became known as Kinsey's Run.
Wow.
But that's 5 points, and and you can see the Simcoe Hotel still stands today, and we have some policemen directing traffic. It's a great shot there. Love this photo.
Yeah, that's really
this photo is both awesome and sad at the same time, and part of the reason why it's sad is that many of those buildings don't no longer exist. Let me point out a couple. On the top left, you'll see the bell tower of the original fire hall on Collier Street, no longer exists. Straight ahead, this is looking up Mulcaster Street today. So straight ahead is City Hall. Now, folks that live in Barrie today will recognize that we have something that's in the shape of the parameter of that building to recognize that. And that was something that Mayor Ross Archer had done when that original City Hall building was taken down. On the right side, you'll see a steeple. That's the original St. Mary's building, which was taken down in the 60s. And obviously, this is taken from the lake. If we were standing in the same spot today, we would probably be in really shallow water because we added a lot of land there, and that's Heritage Park today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So born and raised in Barrie?
Born and raised in Barrie, yep.
And so when did you realize you had a passion for celebrating our history?
I've always been interested in local history, and I've always wanted to do more to preserve it. I've always been fascinated with how things used to be. Another great picture up here, this is the Allendale train station, which was all white in the 1970s. And you can see there, this was before Lakeshore Drive wrapped around. Some folks maybe don't even know that Lakeshore Drive used to end at Tiffin Street.
Wow.
And it was pushed through in 1988. It was, for a long time, we wanted to, and that's just a big connection point. Some people wonder, how would I get to the South End if we didn't have Lakeshore Drive? And prior to that, I can remember as a kid having to drive on Burton Avenue and kind of scroll through the neighborhoods until that was pushed through. So yeah, beautiful picture of Allendale train station. I don't know who this is, but this is a market in downtown Barrie. Maybe one of our viewers can help us identify
There you go.
who that is.
There you go. Perfect.
There we go.
So yeah, and again, like I said, it must be like Christmas morning when you get these packages of photos, or I mean, we were talking about this a little bit.
Oh yeah,
this is one of the coolest finds.
This is just a recent find, and this was on borrow, on loan from us from a friend, and this is actually a reel demonstrating them tearing down the original Barrie Central Collegiate structure in 1972 and putting up the new facade on Bradford Street that went up.
It's
Barrie
video
Central,
footage.
yeah, it's video, and finding films and reels of Barrie from the 70s and 80s, Super 8 and 8 is just, we know they're out there, and this is part of the plea today. You know, if you have them, we would be interested in transferring them and including them on the archive, but we don't see a lot of this, especially a 20-minute reel. And whoever did this did a great job documenting the whole process, and it's just phenomenal to see to have this preserved and to see what Barrie Central used to look like, you know.
This segment's gone way too fast, Travis. Real quick, how can we help? What can we do to help? We got about 10 seconds.
Three asks. People can get involved. We meet the first Wednesday of every month. The number and our website's on screen. Second of all, we're looking for historical content, things that we can borrow, just to scan pictures, film that we can transfer. And then thirdly, we're in the middle of a crowdfunding fundraiser. We're raising $7,500 to make this happen. We need people's money.
Travis, such a cool story. We'd love to have you on again before the opening. Stay with us, friends. Lots more coming up on Daytime.